Hello, Goddesses. Happy Sunday. Hope you're all doing well. So today I'm here to encourage someone that is going through a season of their lives, a season of waiting, really, or a desert season or a dry season. My dry season may look very different from yours. It could be, a season of waiting on something that probably other people are seemingly getting very easily. It could be a period of sickness that you just can't seem to beat this sickness. It's like on repeat. It could be anything, look, anything that looks like, a desert season. It's not like since you gave your life to Christ, he's never done anything good for you. He's done so many good things. Just like we see, I compare this to, the children of Israel, leaving Egypt, where we see their story unfolding with them, having a great miracle of God drowning their enemies, Pharaoh and his army into the sea. And then they embark on a journey that seemed like it was going to be a quick one, a journey to the promised land, but it ended up being as long as you can imagine. And so it's like a lot of us find us in those dry seasons in our lives, in those desert seasons. Anyone that has ever waited on God for something that took years, and I'm talking about years, may be able to testify to this. You're waiting for that deliverance. It's like you've prayed every prayer that you know how to pray, but it's just not happening. There are certain things in my life that took, over 10 years for me to see the breakthrough that God, was promising me, to the point that I was telling myself, there's no prayer you can tell me to pray that I haven't prayed. I've fasted, I felt like I've done enough. Maybe the truth is I hadn't done enough as I thought I have, because most of the time when we're saying that, oh, I've done enough, I've prayed so much, you don't really know the extent of your slavery to begin with. You don't know how deep the thing you're into is. There are certain things God can just bring you out, like just like that. Like even when we see Jesus, performing a lot of miracles for some people, he would just say a very good instruction. For some, they have to dip, they have to do this, they have to do that. Even he himself has to do a few things before that deliverance can come to pass. So some of it were in steps, some of it was instant. So circumstances are different. But I'm here to encourage someone. It could be, a dryness, like I'd been in a dry place when it comes to my prayer life, like comparing it to what it used to be, and then getting to a place where I saw it like dwindle, like going down and down, and you don't know what takes you into captivity. Sometimes it could be that, you slacked somewhere, you are attacked spiritually. Sometimes it starts in form of a dream that you saw something happening to you, but you don't know what exactly that is relating to. Before you know it, your prayer life starts to go down and down and down. There's a time I was in that season, like I was fighting so hard to come up, but I couldn't, to the point that one day I just saw this vision that I'm supposed to run to be going somewhere, and I could tell it was relating to my prayer life. But I noticed that I had an injury on my right leg, and I was limping, and I was trying to pull, but I couldn't, catch up with everyone else running. And I knew spiritually I'd been wounded. I don't know how I've ended up wounded. I don't know, something that happened to slow me down. So regardless, like I was saying, desert times can be really difficult. As you can imagine, a desert like these Israelites living in Egypt, deserts carry all sorts of things. Sometimes it's the scorching heat, they've got all kinds of, hardship. Like it can be boiling hot in the daytime and extremely cold at night times. You can go through so many things during your time of waiting, to the point that the slavery which you came from starts to look attractive. You see, some people end up broke in the season of waiting on God. They start remembering all the boyfriends they used to date. They used to give them money anyhow. How obtaining money wasn't, a thing. But now you've decided to follow Christ. You stepped away from all the things you used to do that you don't know more. Life eventually looks very, very different. The loneliness of waiting on God for the right spouse becomes so real that you start desiring or wishing you'd go back to Egypt so you can date anyhow. You see that it's been a long time that you've been waiting on God to get married. It's difficult to even find someone to date. But then you remember Egypt, where you used to just get guys or girls knocking, asking or hitting on you right, left, and center. But now you've come to a place of dryness, total dryness. There's nothing growing. There's nothing to see. It's so pitch black like this. There's no fun. You've waited for that healing and waited, prayed and prayed, fasted and fasted. There's nothing coming. And the challenges are continuing to come in the desert to the point that, every time you meet people that haven't seen you for a long time, that, so you're still single, you're still not married. Oh, so you're still not healed from that sickness. Oh, this is still going on. Oh, why don't you try this? For giving you different, advices. Like I told you, one of my relatives used to say, one of my uncles used to say, just find a lame somebody on the streets and just marry anyone. Find somebody. Just tell us you're married. You see, so these are some of the challenges of that desert place. Like, have you ever been ill, like sick within your body? But this time around, prayer also comes with pain. I've been there before. You're not praying like a normal person that is got no sickness in their body, but you're praying with pain, like the fasting that someone else that is normal in their body can do. You can't even fast. You desire to fast, but you can't, because you're also dealing with sickness alongside, believing for your deliverance. So all those challenges, like I said, Egypt starts to look attractive. There's a scripture in the book of Deuteronomy when God was speaking to the children of Israel that in as much as he has blessed them and he's told them all these blessings will follow them if they obey, if they remain faithful to him, there are also curses that will follow them. And part of the downside of not following God or falling away is that the route to Egypt that they were never supposed to find, this time they will find. And this is what happens to us sometimes when we fall away from God. You start wanting or desiring to do the things that you used to do no more. Or you see those things, creeping back in your life, forcing themselves on you. Like you find yourself tuning into, particular music that you put behind, going to places you are no longer going. So, like the moral of the story of what I'm trying to say is that waiting can be difficult. It can be grilling. It can humble you, right? But you just have to find the right mindset, or to believe God that, to get you through. So I think my phone is kind of thinking down. So I'm just believing God, for you, even for myself, that whilst we're waiting for those things that have not yet come to pass, whilst we're waiting for that deliverance, whilst we're going through that desert place to the promised land, that he will hold us with his righteous upper hand, that he will hold us faster than we can ever hold ourselves, to the point that we're not finding ourselves in a situation like what the children of Israel asking Moses, were there no graves in Egypt? They brought us to die in this, desert place, when they started missing, the herbs, the spices, because now the food they have to eat is very bland. Life looks so different. Even water is difficult to find. Like you have to jump through so many hurdles to get, anywhere. But whilst in slavery, a lot of those things were easy to get, but the main point is that you are in slavery. You see? So I'm praying to God that the desert season will be, bearable, that will give us the right mindset to wait and to not give up waiting, and not to feel like, oh, the breakthrough is never going to come, because the truth of the story is that the breakthrough is going to come. You just don't know when it's going to come. You just keep praying. You just keep staying in that place of doing everything he's asked you to do, and you leave the rest to him. And also remind yourself that the reason the breakthrough hasn't come, sometimes you don't know. There are many reasons why the breakthrough hasn't come. There's a lot of things that have to align. There's a lot of things that have to align. All of the different things. You may say, oh, I've prayed, I've done this, I've done, but I'll give you a quick example. I don't know what kind of analogy to give you as an example for this to make sense. Okay, let me relate it to, let's say death. Just because I lack maybe a better probably situation to bring here. I mean, this can be applied to the breakthroughs, but I'm not sure exactly how to relate it. But let's say, for example, we know we're all gonna die at one point. There is a time for everybody, to die. But I personally believe that before a person can die, there's a place where you die. There is an illness that will kill you, and there is a time, exact time at which you are supposed to die. But in order for that death to come and to be completed and to actually be executed, all those different aspects that I've mentioned must align, right? You must be at the right place, in the right time, and the right thing to take you down
must also be present. So let's say, for example, you're supposed to die in London, somewhere in London. There are many times you go to London and nothing will happen to you because the two other aspects that are supposed to be involved are not, present. For example, yes, you may be London at the exact time that God maybe decided you would die, but then the illness, it's no time for that illness to be, upon you. So you keep getting away until the time comes. So a lot of things have to align. Sometimes things are delayed. Sometimes the person you're supposed to marry, let's say, for example, you yourself on your end, maybe, you've cleared up, everything is in line, but they also have to be, delivered. Not that God cannot bring that all to align quicker, but there's a lot of things that have to come in agreement for us to be, delivered, for us to come. Sometimes it's the timing. Like in the Bible times, you can see that regardless of how many or how fed up these guys would have been in slavery, there was a particular time. If God has said they will be in slavery for 400 years, the 400 years haven't come yet. If he says 70 years, and even with the 70 years, like how we see in Babylon, someone has to arise and pray for that prophecy to come to pass. So what I'm saying, without rambling on too much, I pray that the Lord will contain us, that the Lord will keep us whilst we're going through that desert season. I've got some desert seasons in my life that I'm still believing God for, that I'm still believing God for the strength to get me through, to keep me in the right frame of mind whilst I'm going through, to focus my eyes on him. So I'm praying the same to you, that, you will not find the way back to Egypt, where God had said you will never be able to find the way back to slavery. Because the slavery you've been to before, it will look very different if you were to return back there. You see, that boyfriend that you left in that place has worsened. If you plan, let me go back and date that guy, is better than remaining single because of Christ. Because by the time you go back, the space you gave him, the space you've not been around, he's probably accumulated more girlfriends. He's probably contacted certain diseases. It's different. So it's not worth going back to. It's like they say, it's like the world is on fire. Like people are running into Christ. It's not time for you to run back into the world. It's not time for you to run back to those things that were once attractive. For he who is on the rooftop of the house or mountaintop, stay there. It's not time to step down. It's not time to think to go back to the things that you were delivered from. So I pray that the Lord will continue to strengthen us in this desert place, in the dryness that you're going through, in the waiting season, that when deliverance comes, everything will make sense as to why you had to wait for the duration that you've waited. Everything will be clear, and you will be unable, what's the word? You'll be able to help someone better because of what you've been through. You'll be able to, see someone that is going through what you went through, and be able to, basically stand with them or have a better understanding of their situation because you've been there. So thank you very much, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye.